Welcome to the Lock Shop with Nielsen and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a Super Bowl episode of The Lock Shop. It's time. We've been making picks all season. We've been having a hell of a playoff, and now we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of markets to sort through for bets on the Super Bowl. As always, The Lock Shop brought to you by Coolbet. Sign up for an account today. Just enter the bonus code LOCKSHOP, and you will get a 100% deposit bonus on your initial deposit up to $200. Huss, happy Super Bowl weekend, my man.
Right back at you, Dusty. Next year, I hope maybe we can be doing this at the Super Bowl. That would be a nice way to change it up. That we got to get back there, get the band together on the road. I think it's down in Arizona. Do a nice week on Radio Row. Hit the Waste Management on Saturday. Hit the game on Sunday. I'm telling you, that's the. We can start cooking that up right now. But yes, I'm just preparing for the most depressing day of the year. That would be Monday. And that has nothing to do with it being Valentine's Day. It's the fact that it's the day after the Super Bowl. But I'll tell you what, I'm now, I don't know if I'm ever really going to get over what happened to the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game and the way they blew it, but I'm at peace with it. And I am ready for what I think is going to be a really, really fun game, an awesome Sunday. And let's face it, I think the most anticipated halftime show in a long time as well.
I cannot wait for the halftime show. Like I forget about the halftime show for a bit, and then I'm like, oh yeah, plus we get three of my favorite artists of all time coming together at the halftime show. So I cannot wait for the halftime show. You can bet on the halftime show. Maybe we'll discuss that a little bit. Look, you can bet on anything for the Super Bowl, and that's the best thing about the Super Bowl. And you know, Super Bowl betting was big before sports betting kind of blew up. Like, people always wanted to bet on everything with the Super Bowl. It's kind of the front runner, kind of the leader in that, and they give us 2 weeks to lead up to it for a couple of reasons. One, we can get every single bet in the world out there. Two, guys like you can recover from a heartbreaking loss in the championship game, and we're all fired back up again. I like it, Huss.
Yeah, we suck it up and get ready for it. Although my local watering hole's trolling me. They've got a couple Burrow jerseys hanging up right now. I took that as a personal affront, and then I remembered, well, I guess he is in the game, and they're giving them away. So,
how did they do that to you, though? Come on.
I know. It was uncalled for. Bring it out on game day. I can live with that. But hey, I guess they want to let everyone know they're doing a big party and giving away some nice jerseys. So that should be good. You know, it's been an interesting week, sort of a quieter Super Bowl week, actually. Yep. And speaking of quiet, you know, for a home team in the game, I don't know if you've been following the pricing for Super Bowl tickets.
This is weird.
The get-in, I kind of thought it would go the other way. The get-in price has really plummeted over the course of the week. I mean, you know, after the Bengals went in, it was in excess of $5,000. Earlier this week, it was, I think, $4,400. And I saw a few tickets available for less than $4,000 US, which for the Super Bowl, especially at a stadium like this with the Rams in LA, a little bit surprising. So if you're in Southern California and you got an extra $4,000 in the jeans, you can go to the Super Bowl right now, get online and get your ticket.
I just can't stop thinking about a combo Super Bowl, Waste Management, Lock Shop, Winnipeg Sports Talk trip. Like, we should line that up next year. That's a great idea, buddy.
Well, I mean, honestly, I mean, the you know, we was lucky enough to do, I think, 6 of them, and we were there in Glendale the last time that they had the event there, and that's exactly what happened. Did the shows all week long on Radio Row, and then on Saturday had the day off before the game, and I had a friend down there. We went to the Waste Management, which is the biggest gong show sporting event I've ever seen. I mean, it's essentially a kegger with 150,000 people there on the Saturday, maybe potentially hitting 200K. I mean, it is just nuts. It's unlike any other golf tournament on the planet. It's a heck of a lot of fun. But if you weren't paying attention and you didn't see the golf, you would think that you were at, I don't know, maybe Frosh Week at ASU or something like that. It is it's a party first and a golf tournament second. So I'm sure we could fit that in on the Saturday before the big game.
Might be able to find something to do. If you want in, let us know. All right, Huss, let's get to this. I mean, we've both been very successful in the playoffs so far. What, 10-2 and 9-3? I think that's where we're at right now. So let's finish strong here. Basically, our contest comes down to this pick if we're going head-to-head here. So, Huss, take it away. But we got a ton of props that we're going to list out. Chris Abbott's going to pop by. We've got a plus 1,100 partner parlay. You're going to want to get in on this, the Super Bowl special, which is it's a boosted partner prop parlay, which is really fun. But Huss, we've had a lot of time to think about this game. Where are you coming out? The number we're working at CoolBet right now is 4. So the line is Bengals plus 4. Where are you headed?
Yeah, so this is a tough one. It's a really interesting matchup. And I know we talked about it in your show earlier today. When you look at these teams on paper, I think you can say that there's probably more talent on the Rams side of the football field. I think a lot of people are quite enamored with Sean McVay and what he's been able to do as a head coach. But I'll tell you what, I think Zach Taylor got hosed as the coach of the year last night. No disrespect to Mike Vrabel and what he was able to do without Derrick Henry. But the Rams are the favorite, and they probably should be going into this. But I just can't help. Part of me thinks that people are still overlooking the Cincinnati Bengals. And I was guilty of it in the AFC Championship game. I think a lot of people were guilty of it in the game against the Tennessee Titans. And even in the first week of the playoffs, you remember, there was a lot of people that thought that the Raiders would get the job done. The Bengals would sort of be happy to be there. It's pretty clear that they're not. But it comes down to a couple things. Is Joe Burrow going to be on his ass all afternoon? And that's a reality. When you've got the likes of Aaron Donald and Leonard Floyd and Javon Miller rushing the quarterback, the impetus is going to be on Joe Burrow to be able to get rid of the football, or the way he did very successfully against the Kansas City Chiefs, run around in the pocket a little bit and give himself a little bit more time to get his guys open. The end of it comes down to it. I got a lot of faith in Joe Burrow to do what he can do to keep his team in this game. And on the other side of things, Dusty, and we've talked about it on this program, I got to say, I don't trust the Rams. This is a team that, they make life so hard for themselves at times. And no greater example of that was the playoff game in the divisional round against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, when literally they had a 24-point lead and ended up needing a couple miracle plays to Cooper Kupp at the end of regulation to kick a field goal to win the football game. So, just with everything that we've seen, I get why the Rams are the favorite, but I think the Bengals have the chops to make this a game. And, considering the line is 4 right now, I'm going to take Cincinnati. It wouldn't shock me if they won this game outright. I think that, it maybe is a little more aggressive bet to go and bet the Bengals on the money line. But as far as the spread goes, maybe this is just kind of pulling for a close and exciting game. But I'm going to take Cincinnati. I have bet this at plus 4.5. And by the way, if you go to CoolBet, you can adjust the number a little bit. But the one that we'll use is basically the standard number right now, that's 4. And you're only laying minus 102 on Cincinnati if you do get the 4. The 4.5 right now, just while I check, is at minus 114. So I kind of think that there is value. It's a pretty significant move from 4 to 4.5. But as far as for our purposes here, I'm going to take the Bengals plus 4. Think Joe Cool's going to keep them into it. And if they're down, I think they'll have a lot of juice in that third and fourth quarter to get back into the game, or at least maybe get us a backdoor cover. We certainly saw what they were able to do against the Chiefs in the second half. And as I said, this just comes back to not fully trusting the Los Angeles Rams.
Which is understandable. I might regret what I'm about to do here, because I think 2 or 3 times we've rolled on to an episode on Tuesday of the Lock Shop and been like, we're never betting on the Rams again. But what a way to finish off maybe an 11-2 playoff run for me than to actually stick with the Rams, stick with Matthew Stafford, have them cover the 4. I will be honest, when I bet this, I'll probably bet it down to 3 or even maybe 2.5 and just eat the spread on that one. But for this purpose, I will take the Rams minus 4 for a couple of different reasons. One, now Cincinnati, I don't know what happened in the second half against Kansas City. I'll never understand it. I don't know if that's more on Kansas City or more on Cincinnati. I'll never understand it. But for the first 2 quarters of that football game, you're looking at it going, how'd the Bengals even get into this game? Kansas City's going to win by 25. did everything they wanted. And then whatever. I mean, if it's coaching adjustments, if it's the Chiefs just kind of taking the foot off the pedal, however that second half went, I mean, we honestly believe that Bengals could do that again, because I honestly think the Rams could come out and move the ball as easily as the Chiefs did in the early going of this football game. So Matthew Stafford is interesting because we can look at it from a Stafford perspective, and I worry about him a little bit, but at the same time, his 3 playoff starts, his quarterback rating is better than it was ever. Better than any regular season quarterback rating he finished with, better than the 3 playoff losses he took with the Detroit Lions. Matthew Stafford is playing maybe as well as he ever has, and that probably has something to do with what he has around him. But Matthew Stafford could have very easily just sat there and watched Tom Brady come back in that game and not go out and take 2 deep shots down the field and come back and snatch victory from going to overtime and losing to Tom Brady if he got the ball back again. So Matt Stafford has kind of checked off some boxes along the way for me here in the playoffs. Even as the biggest Stafford supporter, I was still nervous for him along the way multiple times. I also think that the Rams defense is a different animal than what the Chiefs defense brings to the table. I mean, I was stunned that Kansas City only got to Burrow once. And a lot of that has to go credit to Burrow. Like, he showed the ability to escape from the pocket that I didn't think he was capable of doing. Like, there was a couple of times I thought he was just going to fold, and he fought out of it. I love Joe Burrow. It pains me to bet against Joe Burrow in this situation, but I think the clock might strike midnight here for the Cincinnati Bengals. And we'll get to the total maybe a little bit with Chris Abbott when he pops by. I know we'll bring him in here in a second, but I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Rams -4. I think their defense eventually, especially that defensive front, is going to be too much to handle. They've got Ramsey. I don't know how well he's going to do at shutting down Chase, but the bottom line is he's one of the best corners in the league. They're going to have that ability. Now, the thing is that Cincinnati's got some other offensive weapons that can hurt you too. I think T. Higgins is a mismatch nightmare. I've got a couple of props with T. Higgins that I really like. But I do think the Rams get it done. I'm probably not as confident in my -4 as you are in your +4. But if they look after the football, if Cam Akers doesn't fumble it away, if Matthew Stafford doesn't throw an interception or 2, I think the Rams could win by 7 or 10. So I'll take the Rams -4. And you're right. It has been a little bit of a quieter Super Bowl week, but I still think this is going to be a really good football game. So I'm looking forward to the game, Huss.
Well, you know what? And that's sort of, I think, part of the my thinking of taking Cincy +4. I think it's just sort of almost cheering and betting on it being a heck of a football game. And listen, both these teams certainly deserve to be there. Although I'll say this about Matt Stafford. I mean, how different would the narrative be right now about Stafford if Tart catches the easiest interception in NFL history in the fourth quarter of that football game? Maybe we're talking about Jimmy G at this point. I'm not sure. And you know what? One other thing, and I know we kind of, everyone's gaga over McVay and some of the things he's done offensively. He better figure out, you better have his 15-year-old kid that plays a lot of Madden on the sideline with him, letting him know when he should be using his timeouts and when he should be challenging and not. Because, man, he's had a few really, really questionable decisions. And tell you what, if this does get down to a really tight game, those timeouts and those decisions from a coaching standpoint can really make a difference. And as I said, we talked about what happened in the second half. One thing that did happen in the second half was some amazing defensive adjustments from the Cincinnati Bengals to the way they handled the Chiefs offense. And, I think they're going to be challenged in a similar way by the Rams offense when we get to Sunday. So it's a fascinating matchup. And this is great that we're on opposite sides. It's essentially, we were dead tied with our confidence picks. You had the 1-game lead. So essentially, this is just a $50 bet between the two of us.
This is it. Yeah. You're right. Okay, so we do have a bunch of props. We'll save those. What we'll do is we'll bring in Chris Abbott. We'll get to our boosted parlay. We'll get Abbott's pick, and then we'll give you all of our props to wrap up the episode. And this parlay is a juicy one. I can't believe we're even saying this number, but it's plus 1,100. This is by far the largest lock shop boosted partner parlay we've ever had. We each took a prop and then threw it into this. Abbott boosted it up to plus 1,100. And I have to say, I really like what I'm seeing here. I think this is great value at plus 1,100. So while I set Chris up to bring him in here, Huss, you start us. Where are you going with yours?
Yeah, well, listen, my pick is going to be Jamar Chase long reception over 26.5 yards. I mean, I don't need to extol the virtues of the Burrow Chase combination. I think everyone knows what they've done so far this year. And of course, he won the Offensive Rookie of the Year yesterday. But listen, for the Bengals to be in this game, it's going to be on the arm of Joe Burrow. I mean, I'm not optimistic that they get a ton on the ground from Joe Mixon. And to be honest, I'm not sure that that's the way that they even, plan to attack the Rams with what they have up front. And I think there's the potential that either they go early and often to Jamar Chase, and he's always dangerous in the ability to break a big play. And then there's the other possibility that, the Rams do have a bit of a lead and, they're playing off a little bit and making sure he doesn't go to the house. But I mean, with the talent that he has, it's not at all unreasonable to think that his longest catch will be pushing 30 yards or more. So I really do like Jamar Chase, longest reception over 26.5. And that's my part of our 3-prop partner parlay for the Super Bowl.
I'm going to stick with one of the big receivers as well, and I'm going to go with Cooper Kupp finishing with the most yards from scrimmage in this game. And if you just go look at his game log, like for the entire season, it's 150 yards, 130 yards, 110 yards. Very rarely was he under 100 yards in this game. And if you look at guys who could potentially get to 100 yards in the game, I'm not sure Mixon can. I don't think, like you said, not sure they can run the ball against the Rams defense. Not sure if they feel this can be necessary. Not sure they're going to be in a spot where they're going to be able to have time to run the ball. So I don't see him doing it. Don't see Cam Akers doing it, depending on his workload. It's kind of been hit and miss with the turnover issues that he's had. I mean, Cooper Kupp could have very well been the league MVP this year, and it's because he steadily delivered every single game. So when I saw the number of plus 210, I know there's a lot of other guys that could factor in here, but I still love that number of plus 210. I've got that down as the props I'm going to bet on individually as well. So Cooper Kupp, most yards from scrimmage. Chase always has the potential to take that away because he's such a big play guy, but Matthew Stafford in a game that could change his legacy, why is he not going to feed a steady diet of balls in the direction of Cooper Kupp? It's going to happen. It's just a matter of how big the plays can end up being.
You know what? I love this pick, Dusty. I mean, at a certain point, you can outthink yourself. I mean, there's a lot of other guys that have had great seasons, but Cooper Kupp is here and everyone else is here. As far as, by the way, I was going up and down for those of you listening on the podcast. That might not translate that well to the audio format of it. And listen, I mean, win or lose, Cooper Kupp's going to be the central point in this Rams offense. So, hey, I like it. And the fact that we're getting plus 210, I think just speaks to the other talent in the game. But it's sometimes keep it simple, stupid. Cooper Kupp's been the guy all season long. He will be the linchpin for this Rams offense. And can't say that I didn't like to see what you were throwing down. All
right. So that's 2. And we go back to the kicker. Once again, Chris Abbott can't get away from McPherson, which I totally get. But he's got McPherson to outscore Matt Gay at plus 102. Let's bring in Chris Abbott, who's back from Vegas yet again. Chris, how are you, buddy?
And heading back in a couple of weeks, mind you. I just saw that they dropped their mask mandate yesterday, so I'm absolutely excited to.
And why didn't you just go over to LA? Why didn't you just go to LA for a week?
Had things worked out a little bit better in Las Vegas, maybe I would have. But,
classic.
Needed to come home and lick my wounds for a bit. No, I got to work at some point. Actually, it's a real. I don't know why I didn't do that. It never even crossed my mind, and now I'm kind of sad that I didn't.
Well, I was just throwing out to Dusty that the goal next year is to get back to the Super Bowl, to do shows on Radio Row during the week. Friday, up till Friday. Saturday, we hit the Waste Management Gong Show in Arizona. And then, of course, the game is on Sunday. So we've got a year to plan and execute that. But I can tell you that, doing this for a while, those weeks on Radio Row at the Super Bowl are the best week that you'll ever have in this industry, in the business. And I do think that next year, as we're sort of coming out of the pandemic, it'll be even more exciting and jam-packed on it. So that's the goal for us here on the Lock Shop. We've got 12 months to make it happen.
Where is the Super Bowl next year? Do we know?
Arizona.
Oh, I can do that.
That's why we can go to the Waste Management on Saturday.
We can go hang out at Cliff's house.
Beautiful place, Kingsbury. Yeah. All right. So you're going to be the tiebreaker. We'll get to that in a second because he's on the Bengals. I'm on the Rams. But first of all, McPherson over Gay. I think you got a lot of support from Huss and I on this one. But why did you decide to go with that when there's so many props available?
Oh, I mean, honestly, there are so many props available, and complete honesty, I didn't have a lot of time to dig through it because I've been in just a drunken and table game haze in the last couple of weeks. But one thing I do know is Evan McPherson is really good, and I'm not sold on Matt Gay. I think there's other things at play. I think Sean McVay will make stupid decisions and maybe not kick field goals. I think that there's a very high possibility that the Bengals offensive line gets chewed up and they have no point or no choice but to kick for field goals, especially early. So yeah, I mean, you got to ride with the hot leg.
Speaking of that,
the leg with swag.
Yeah, well, hey, listen, this guy is nails, absolutely nails. I mean, what a pick! And to do it as a rookie. I know Justin Tucker last night at the awards got the moment of the year with his record-setting 66-yarder that broke the hearts of you, Dusty, and all of the Lions fans around the world. But I'll tell you what, this McPherson sort of seems like the next one. And I may even consider dropping a little sprinkle on plus 230 of a field goal of 55 or more yards for it because, you know, inside SoFi, I mean, it's a perfect spot for kicking. And I probably have more confidence in McPherson to do that than Gay. But, you know, every point's going to be so crucial. And if they are in a situation like that, Zach Taylor's not afraid to throw out his rookie kicker in the biggest of moments because all he's done is paid him back with perfect kicks throughout the playoffs.
Yeah, and I had to look into this too because I know you post the plus 1100. I'm like, that seems awfully high. And I like recalculated it a few times. And yeah, I mean, when you take the correlation of the fact that these are all moments in the same game out of it, that's pretty good. And really, none of those are really that correlated, right? It's not like it's a total and a win or something like that. So
yeah, they're completely separate, really, right? Like
yeah. Three different areas of the game, right? The LA offense, the Cincinnati offense, and the Cincinnati special teams. So hey, it's a big bet, and like you said, it's quite likely to hit.
Hey, Chris, you know, we told everyone, of course, if you haven't bet a cool bet beforehand, use the promo code LOCKSHOP. You can get 100% deposit bonus up to $200 if it's your first time. There's also, I know, a free, if you do a $10 bet builder, you get another $10 bet on Monday. It's just a big weekend for Cool Bet. It's the biggest game of the year. Fill everyone in if maybe they're not familiar with what you guys have going on. What's waiting for them when they jump on the site?
Yeah, well, the bet builder one, it's basically a free $10 bet builder or whatever you want to do. Win or lose, we're going to give you $10 back on Monday after the game. So try out the bet builder, follow opt into the promotion. It's right there on the promotions page. It's literally free money. So we've got that. What else they got going on? I mean, the boys have been busy. We've got this, a few different things that are correlated with different parts of the site. You can go in, make a prediction on the game, get an entry to, I think it's a 2,500 euro poker event. And then there's also just a regular predictor where you go in and you can win as part of a prize pool. All those.
I love the bet builder. Yeah, I just love the bet builder. I've been bet building NBA games. I've been bet building hockey games. What's that, Huss?
I said, you're now the basketball bet builder.
Well, yeah, I got hosed the other night so hard, but I've hit on a few of those, and I love it. I love basketball bet builder. There's so much going on there, man. I will never forgive Andrew Wiggins for finishing with 13 points when he should have had 13 and a half. And the Lakers losing on the money line to the Blazers. Get out of here. The Blazers are trying to lose, and they still couldn't win that game. So that was frustrating. But, yeah, you can bet build soccer, football, hockey, and basketball, right, Chris? That's what we've got right now.
I'm waiting for the curling bet builder. Been running the table. You know what? A good run so far with the Olympics. I mean, that 3-gamer I gave out on Tuesday, Dusty came in. We hit a nice curling parlay as well. And you know what? This morning, I had a live bet on Jen Jones when she was down last night. That didn't come in. And I get up this morning and I check the account and I'm like, why did it go up again? I didn't think I won any bet. You know what it was? Remember when we gave out Joe Burrow as comeback player of the year at even money a few weeks ago when Dak Prescott was minus 132? That's what came in last night. So always nice when you get those futures. You don't even know whether they're going to be done. And all of a sudden, it appears in your account the morning 2 days before the Super Bowl.
Nothing better than a surprise deposit, buddy. It's just the best. All right, Chris, Bengals Rams. 4 points is where you guys have it right now. It doesn't move before kickoff, does it? Do you think?
I've seen 3.5s. It's very, very curious that this line has just not moved for 2 weeks, which makes me a little bit nervous if I'm backing the Rams, because everything screams that the Rams should win this game, right? There's no doubt that the defensive line of the Rams should gobble up the Bengals, that the offensive playmakers on the Rams should, have a field day with the Cincinnati defense and secondary. So it's weird to me that this line hasn't moved, and more so that the reports I'm hearing is that the money's coming in on Cincinnati. So I think bookmakers are taking money on Cincinnati. They're hesitant to drop it because then they might get smacked with a lot of Rams money. So I think we might be stuck here. I don't think we're going to see 3. I don't think we're going to see 5. You might see move a half point either way, which makes me very, very, very nervous in betting this game. So, everything logically to me screams that I should take the Rams spread, but I guess I got to take the Bengals.
I like it, Chris. What about the over? The total, that's one thing we haven't really gotten into. And this is an area where we have seen some movement. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, it opened at about 50.5 or 50-1, got bet down quite quickly. Right now, Coolbet's got it at 48.5 with some pretty nice numbers, minus 106 to the over and minus 102 to the under. I'll be honest, I've been thinking about this a lot. And now, if backing the Bengals means that they're going to need to score points, I certainly think the Rams are going to get in the end zone quite a bit. So I'm really liking the over in this, despite the fact that the number's been coming elsewhere and a lot of people are coming in on the under. Where are you guys at on the total?
For me, I would expect the game to start slowly, right? And I think we've probably seen that total adjust accordingly. So it's probably right about where it should be. I wouldn't be above betting the under on this number and then waiting to see how the game plays out and then jumping on an over 40 or 42 if it starts slowly. So that's kind of where I'm sitting on that.
I think the number's in a perfect spot right now because I'm very tempted to bet it, even though I'm seeing this game as like a 24-20-ish, 27-20 type of game. I'm still sitting there going, 48.5 for these two teams. The way you guys are talking about, like Chris said, with the line not moving, you'd be pretty nervous to bet the Rams in this situation. And with the total coming down, I mean, are most people thinking the Bengals in the under in this game? And if they are, that surprises me because if the Bengals are going to win this game, I think it's got to be an over. So it's confusing me a little bit right now, I guess.
Yeah, it is confusing. It is. It's hard to say. Maybe instead of betting the under and wait, maybe just don't bet it before the game. Wait to see if it starts slowly because both these offenses should score and they can score in bunches. I think what I'm going to do is not bet it pregame. Wait and see what happens in the first quarter. See if I can get a better number for the over. And if they come out guns blazing and there's a bunch of points, well then so be it. It's gone. Or you can do it the other way. If there's a bunch of points in the first quarter, you hit the live under. Because I don't think it's going to be a track meet for 4 quarters, and I don't think it's going to be a bowling match for 4 quarters either. I don't know where I came up with bowling. I was trying to think of something that was slow.
You realize in bowling they have 300-yard games.
300 points.
300-point games, yeah. Haas, before we let Chris go, just quickly, you are on the over? You're no doubt about it. Over.
Yeah. I'm taking over 48.5. And that's always a fun, especially without really any rooting interest in this game. I want it to be fun. I want it to be close. That's part of the reason why I think I'm on the Bengals. And you certainly want to see some points. And listen, both of these offenses, there's a reason why to think that they will be able to score points. And And we're making a lot about this Rams defense, but I just really think that Joe Burrow is going to find a way to make some things happen offensively. And if that's going to happen, I think it'll be over. So that's why I'm riding with the over 48.5.
I think there's some other really good bets out here that are away from the main lines. Like, I know you're joking that I was talking about kicking, but Johnny Hekker is one of the best punters in the entire game, if not the best. There's a plus 350 for a punt to be down inside the 5-yard line. I don't think that's completely out of the realm of possibility. And a plus 350, I really, really, really like it.
It's funny you mentioned that too. And there's also plus 505 for Hekker to result in a touchback. I mean, I know he's quite accurate, but he also has a leg that is essentially a nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
And, it wouldn't be. I was really surprised at those numbers. And even Huber on the Bengals is plus 350. I was sort of surprised those numbers were as high as they were. Wouldn't surprise me at all to see a punt, a punt for, go into the end zone at some point. I mean, it happens all the time.
Yeah, I know. I agree. That was the other one that I was going to bring up. I think I think those are good bets to make. And then there's also the missed extra 2 point. Oh no, I got that wrong. I read it wrong. Missed extra point on a kick is plus 300, which is not crazy either.
Yeah, I think both of these kickers are too good. I won't be betting again on misses for these guys. If anything, we'll be betting on points as long as our guy McPherson gets more than Gay to ride that parlay.
Absolutely.
Chris, enjoy the game, man. We will catch up again next week. All right.
Okay, I hope you guys saw the cross-sport props and talked about those. There's some interesting those too.
We're just about to get to
all right.
We're getting into our props right now, man. There you go. That's Chris Abbott from Coolbet Canada. Follow him on Twitter at CoolBetChris. Once again, the Lock Shop, since we started, it has been brought to you by Coolbet. Sign up for an account today. Coolbet.com. Use the bonus code LOCKSHOP when you sign up. Huss, we got about just under 10 minutes. You got Winnipeg Sports Talk coming up, but give me some props. So you talked about the cross-sport props. I don't have any of those, but I got about 6 or 7 I can spit out. Give me yours first.
All right. So first off, we've got Bengals. We've got over. I'm going to ride with Joe Burrow on the over his passing total at 275.5. I think the bottom line is they have to get that out of Joe Burrow if this game is going to be, close and exciting as I think it will be. So I'm going with the over 275 on Burrow. As I mentioned, my favorite one is the Chase long reception over 26.5. We've got that in on the partner prop parlay. And I do like T. Higgins. You'd sort of mentioned earlier. I mean, as far as he might be a tough matchup with the amount of attention that Jamar Chase is going to get, I think there might be some value in both Higgins and Tyler Boyd. But over 5.5 receptions for T. Higgins is paying plus money at plus 108. So I certainly like that as well. And first reception for the Rams at plus 250 for Odell Beckham Jr. Beckham has actually done quite well in single coverage. I mean, I would have time for Beckham over 5.5 receptions as well, because I think of just the amount of attention that Cooper Kupp is naturally going to get. So there's one for you. And then there's an interesting one in between the two quarterbacks. Who will throw the first pick, Matt Stafford or Joe Burrow? I'm going to go with Matt Stafford on that one. I think Burrow is going to be I think he is a better record of taking care of the football. Oh, of course, he did throw a pick in the second half of that AFC Championship game. And the other guy I'm somewhat fading, and we talked a little bit about what the Bengals were going to do passing-wise. I don't think that this is going to be a huge game for Joe Mixon, at least rushing-wise. They might have to pitch it to him out of the backfield. But I'm going to take under 92.5 combined yards for Joe Mixon. And then the first player to record a sack on the Rams side of things, I'm going to go Leonard Floyd. I just think there's some value there. There's so much attention on Aaron Donald, as they naturally should be. But I think that might open up a little bit more for Floyd. And I like him more than Von Miller. You get a much better number at plus 375 on Leonard Floyd. And then as far as the cross-sport props, these are fantastic, folks. You got to get to CoolBet. Click on the game. You'll see right at the bottom, there's cross-sport props. First things first, which will be higher, Canada's men's team total goals versus China, or the Rams players to have a reception? The Rams have been averaging in and around 6 players to have a reception. At times, they've gone to 7. China already lost the United States 8-0. I think Canada gets to that number as well. So I like it at minus 105. Canada as well. Another great one, Canada USA men's curling total points at -115 versus the Joe Burrow rushing yards. Oh, and I should have mentioned, I do like the over on Joe Burrow rushing yards, which is at 11.5. And I think that, part of it will be running for his life at times. But we saw what he did to Chris Jones last week. I mean, he has shown a knack for being able to turn what could be a sack into 6, 7. I think he's going to have to run a little bit. So I actually do like the Joe Burrow rushing yards to exceed the total points in the Canada-USA men's curling game. And there's another one for the premiership of the Leicester City and West Ham total goals versus Matt Gay's successful extra points. But the one that I do like that I'm already in on is T. Higgins receptions, -110 versus Adesanya Whitaker total rounds completed. That one could go under. I mean, I guess you could always have a 1 or 2 round fight. Even if it goes the distance, though, I'm kind of liking the over 5.5. So I'm going to take T. Higgins over the total rounds completed in the Adesanya Whitaker fight in UFC 251.
I'm definitely getting on that one. I'm with you on T. Higgins. I think T. Higgins could have a big game. So, okay, here's what I've got. A couple basic ones. I've got Cooper Kupp for a touchdown, +165. T. Higgins for a touchdown, +350 for a Higgins touchdown. I like that one. This one, there's not much value on it, but I think it happens. Rams, -294 to have the most sacks in this game. I'd be shocked if the Bengals have more sacks than the Rams when it's all said and done. I really like this one. Tyler Boyd, his first catch to be under 8.5 yards at -110. Tyler Boyd is the slot receiver, right? This is a guy who does a lot of his damage in the 3 to 6, 7 yard range. So Tyler Boyd for his first catch to be under 8.5 yards. You can get that at -110. On Cooper Kupp, long play, similar to what you were with Chase. Cooper Kupp set at 27.5, so 1 yard beyond Chase. I'll take Cooper Kupp over that at 27.5. I'm going to go Sony Michel over 5.5 carries. And I know in that game against Tampa, it was a lot of Cam Akers. Sony Michel had one carry in that game.
And a lot of fumbles from Cam Akers as well.
Bingo. Last week or 2 weeks ago in the conference championship game, Sony Michel touched the ball 10 times. He had 10 carries. It's sitting at 5.5 right now. If Cam, I think he can hit the 5.5 even if Akers plays okay. But if Akers fumbles or does not look good at all, that's a lock. Michel over 5.5. If Akers fumbles in any way, I think you could see Michel get there anyway. So Sony Michel over 5.5. I'm going to go with Matthew Stafford under 2.5 rush attempts. That's at -110. In a perfect world, I don't think he's going to be pushed out of that pocket very often, and he doesn't usually like to take off anyway. Going to ride with our McPherson love. I'm going over 7.5 points for McPherson at -110. And then as far as the halftime show goes, the Lose Yourself is like a -200 right now for the opening song, which I get it. I mean, the beginning of that song with the light sound, it does make sense. But I still, my girl, Mary J. Blige, coming out to Family Affair, when it's kind of a family affair with everybody coming together, it's at +3,500. It's like the long shot. So I'm going to dabble a little sprinkle on Family Affair to kind of get things started. And then maybe Mary J. Blige kind of gets out of the way and Snoop and Dre and Eminem take over after that. So, I mean, Lose Yourself does make a lot of sense. I understand why it's a favorite. But outside of that, I don't mind Family Affair actually be next on the list, and it's at +3,500. So I'm gonna hop on that as well.
Yeah, I'm not riding with you on Mary J to start things off. I mean, I sort of think that it will be. I mean, I really think Dr. Dre is going to be the guy that is sort of the, the host of everything. So you're looking at still Dre at 5-1. And, California Love is going to get it at some point. What a great way to start off the halftime show in California. And then with that song, and that's at +750. So I think either the 5-1 or the +750 one. The other option you can also bet on is the color of Eminem's hair when he is first shown. Brown and black is -400. White blonde +265. That's for people that remember the Slim Shady days. Yeah. I don't know if that's going to be.
That's not him anymore. So I don't know if that happens. I saw that.
Yeah, exactly. I can't lay the juice on brown or black hair for that. Hey, we haven't touched on MVP, and we should just do that quickly before we go. Listen, I mean, I'm kind of riding with the Bengals in this game. But I realize, like, certainly against the spread, I mean, I'll probably put a little sprinkle on them for fun to win because I'll be cheering for them. And obviously, if the Bengals win, Joe Burrow is getting the MVP, which is interesting. I mean, you might want to, if you think the Bengals can win, this plus 173 for Bengals, it's plus 245 for Joe Burrow to be the MVP. So, I mean, you might even be better off just betting Burrow to win the MVP as opposed to a money line bet on the Bengals. But if you do like the Rams, Cooper Kupp at plus 650. I mean, I kind of said it earlier. I mean, you don't need to outthink ourselves here. Matthew Stafford might be a sentimental favorite, but this is a guy, Dusty, that did the Triple Crown. If he wins Super Bowl MVP and they win the Super Bowl, this will be one of, if not the greatest receiving seasons in NFL history. Everyone's going to be paying attention to Cooper Kupp. And I know it's usually a quarterback's award, but if he has the big game that many people expect him to, don't be at all surprised if he takes home the MVP at plus 650.
Love it. Side story quickly. Final month of college. I dyed my hair like Eminem, beach blonde. It was, I swear to God, buddy. I don't know if the pictures are out there, but me and my buddy Boom, we did it. And for graduation in college, my hair was like Eminem type. It was.
You should do that for a CFL opening weekend next year.
That would be great. Okay, Winnipeg Sports Talk coming up very quickly. What do you got coming up here? 5 minutes. What's going on?
You know what? Kenny Weave's going to join us. Huge weekend for the Jets. Came in Dallas tonight, tomorrow in Nashville. So Ken will join us. We'll see up the weekend, get his thoughts on the Super Bowl. The legend Lee Hacksaw Hamilton will join us to talk Super Bowl as well. And the new head coach of Valor FC, Philip Dos Santos, is going to pop by. They're getting ready for the camp next week. We'll talk a little bit about that and get his comments on the rise of Canadian soccer. Now our men's national team, an all-time high, ranked 33rd in FIFA, and what that means for World Cup and a potential World Cup draw heading into Qatar in November.
He's Hustler. I'm Nielsen. You can find him next on Winnipeg Sports Talk. Enjoy the Super Bowl, everybody. Thank you for watching or downloading the Lock Shop. We appreciate it. Of course, thank you to our presenting sponsor from CoolBet. Huss, enjoy the game, buddy. We'll talk to you next week.
Absolutely. Just so everyone knows, I mean, it's the end of NFL season, but we'll be back. We got hockey, we got Olympics, we got hoops, we got a heck of a lot more.
Wide world of wagering.
Oh, it is going to be back very soon. By the way, great start for my guys at the Waste Management. Just waiting to see what sort of heartbreak I'll get this Sunday after what's happened the last two. Fingers crossed, though. Anyways, enjoy the game, everyone.